Before I get started, I'm going to show you guys some of the essentials to doing your own chain. I use this chain right here, EK chain, and I'll tell you why. I was using RK chain for a while, and it just didn't seem like it was lasting very long, and I started using this chain here, and I think it lasts about 50% longer. And another reason is it's way more easier to install, and you'll see why here in a minute. Let's see, what I'm going to need is some of these black rubber gloves, and this is a tool you're definitely going to need. It's a chain breaker. Oh, there it is. I'm going to need some wrenches for the chain breaker to loosen up my rear wheel, and here's my rear wheel, 10 millimeter and a 12 millimeter. I think that's about it. Oh, a couple little zip ties. Okay, so the way you know your chain's worn out is there's a couple things. You'll start noticing kinks in the chain where the chain's not straight anymore. Or for me, I always notice my chain starts making noise. Step one, break the chain. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw this big bolt part here onto the chain, and then I'll screw this center part in, and see the pin coming out? That pin will push the pin through the chain. So let's back this back out, get back in there, loosen that up, just put this right over. You see it's got holes in it to line things up, so just place that, back this out some more. You can feel that kind of catch on the pin. Snug that down with your hand. This one here takes a 14 millimeter. I'll just snug that down a little bit so it's snug on the chain, and then turn that in until it's snug, and then just take your time and just start turning it. You might want to put it in gear. And I can just focus on the wrench. Just work it out slowly. There's no rush. You don't want to break something. And then it frees up pretty quickly, and then you can just spin the pin out of the backside. It's going to push the pin through the backside of the chain. I can even turn it with my hand now. So then just back the center pin out. This out. Now I've been having trouble. There we go. So you can see here it just pushed the pin out of the chain. So now the chain is broken, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this chain and I'm going to take a zip tie, that drop down, and I'm going to zip tie these two chains together. So as I feed the old chain out of the bike, it'll feed the new chain into the bike. Reason being, up at the countershaft sprocket, you usually can't get in there unless you take the cover off. So this is just an easy way to feed the chain through the countershaft sprocket. So, and feed it through that chain, feed it through that chain, and just close it off. Probably get them as tight as possible, so it's kind of like the zip tie is replacing a link naturally. Let's feed this through and see if this works. I've actually never done this before personally, but I had the idea one day, and I figured next time I do it, I'll try it. Today's the day. Make sure your chain is lined up straight with your sprocket so it keeps feeding on, and just slowly feed it through. Look at that. Boom, it's already coming out the backside. Awesome, it worked. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to break the new chain too. You wanna make sure you don't break the wrong link, because if you do, you're gonna ruin your chain. So what I did was I made sure it's as snug as I could with my hand, and it came up to right here. So I'm gonna break this link right here. Okay, I'm going to tell you another reason I love the EK chain. This chain master link doesn't require any special tools like other compression style links. If you see this link here, it's grease. All I have to do is slide this outer link onto the chain, and then see these two studs, threaded studs. You'll take this nut and you'll screw these nuts down in unison, screw them all the way down, and what they'll do is they'll push this link onto these pins, and you keep on turning till it's pressed all the way on, and then you just take a hammer or a wrench and you just snap off these nuts and you're done. There's no special tools, just a wrench. Don't lose these little O-rings, by the way. See there? I have one rubber O-ring on each backside post. I'm gonna remove those, because I already got the ones on the master link. Get that, bring that in from the backside. Always come in from the backside. Push it on. Master link looks, I like to put it so that there's some lettering on here. You can see that. I put that so it's facing outward. It probably doesn't matter, but that's just my thing. Oh, wait. Make sure you put these little O-rings on first. It's an O-ring chain. If it wasn't an O-ring chain, you wouldn't have these O-rings. I use O-ring chains mostly because I ride in any weather, and if it's raining and stuff, these chains will last longer in poor riding conditions. So put both nuts on, just snug them with your fingers, and come back with a 10mm wrench, and just, you can get one all the way snug down first, and then you want to tighten them both just a little bit. Tighten, so it's pushing this outer link in evenly. You don't want to like crank one all the way down, then the other one, because it'll kick this outer link sideways and it'll bind up. So let's speed this process up. Okay, you'll know when you're at the end, when things get too tight to turn anymore. And you don't want to push them too tight, because you don't want to snap them off by turning them like that. Okay, you can see here the links are all the way pressed on. So what I'm going to do now is, I might be able to snap these off just by putting the wrench on there. Put the box end wrench on there like that, and just pull. See that? And this one here, just snap them off. Look at that, perfect. All right, so obviously to tighten the chain, I need to turn back this bolt I loosened earlier at the beginning, and let me show you how that works. Turn this 10mm nut, and you can see as I turn it, you can see the chain getting tighter. And what I like to do is I like to have my chain tension to where I can move my chain about that much when it's fully adjusted. So let's keep turning. Now keep in mind there's an adjuster on the other side too. You want to keep your back wheel straight, but I usually start with this side, get it really close, because when I pull the other side back, it's going to get a little bit tighter too. So I don't fully adjust it with just this side first. I get it close, which that's pretty close. And then let's come to the other side and move it out. And usually on these bikes there's markings that you can see that you can use to line it, but this bike doesn't seem to have those markings. So I've been doing this for so long, I like check measurements like from here to here and make sure they're equal on both sides. Probably best to have your bike in neutral. So the wheel's pretty close to being straight. Yeah, that looks about the same spot. And then that feels pretty good right there. So what I'll do is now is I'll tighten the big nut, and I will recheck the tension on the chain, because sometimes when you tighten the big nut, the chain tightens up a little bit, and you just want to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, so one last thing I like to do to my chains before I'm done is they come with this really heavy white grease when you get them, and I like to clean that off because it looks terrible and attracts dirt. So what I have here is a rag that I've soaked in gas. It's not soaking wet, but I wet it down, and I just go over the chain and I just wipe it to get some of that crappy white grease off there. I mean, I just paid pretty good money for this gold chain. I always run the gold, looks cool, and I don't want it to look like it's covered in white crap.